A crow flaps its wings over a football field where the Ehime Prefecture Junior High School tournament is being held. The student dribbles the ball, and the spectators are amazed with player number 10. Ashido always runs with the ball and shoots it perfectly into the goal. Yelling in happiness, the spectators mention that it is a hat trick as Ashido has tied the game from 3-0. Even though Ashido doesn't play with tactics, the coach dismisses it as Ashido is carrying the tram. As the team huddles with new motivation, the opposing team player goes to Asito, questioning Ashido if he still remembers him. They were in the same club during elementary school. Number 1 tries to trigger Ashido by mentioning that Ashido was bullied during elementary school, but Ashido doesn't care. But when he starts dissing the other team members for being pussies, Ashido goes up to Number 1 and rages internally. Suddenly, Ashido headbutts Number 1. A man watches from the stands, smiling. Later, his mom is pissed that Ashido started brawling without thinking first, and the coach goes to lecture him. Noriko headbutts Ashido, and the coach tells him that the recruiting coach from Dugo Business High has declined giving Ashido a recommendation for his immature behavior. Later, we can see the man called Tatsuya watching some kids play football. The lady on the phone is mad that he has skipped his duties and screams in his ears, but he tells her that he has work to do. Tatsuya turns to Asito, who has been running for 2 hours straight. When Asito stops in front of him, Tatsuya compliments his stamina, but Ashito faints in his arms. Here, we see Ashito's past memories. He introduces himself as the reincarnation of Ronaldo to the football team he is joining. Assuring the coach that he doesn't need tactics to win, the coach becomes speechless about Ashido, and the members are amused by his character. Ashido doesn't lie about his feelings, and being so direct has made him an outcast on every team he joined. Despite this, his current team has accepted Ashido, and it pissed him off when Number 1 insulted them. Ashido wakes up, wondering when he fell asleep. Hearing a noise, he looks down and sees Tatsuya kicking the ball continuously at the wall. Amazed by Tatsuya's skills, Ashido wants to know who the hell Tatsuya is. Tatsuya offers to teach Ashido the skill, mentioning that Ashido could have scored more goals today with this skill. He kicks the ball to Ashido and teaches him the details of ball control. Tatsuya draws many circles and tells Ashido to move the ball into one of the circles using only one touch while standing in the middle. Only 3 steps are allowed, and to do so, he needs to master the skill. At home, his brother, Shun, is worried as Ashido has not returned home. His teammates have already gone out, looking for him. Noriko tells Shun leave Ashito alone as she is pissed that Ashido started a fight even though she took leave to go watch him play. As Shun wonders why Ashido even started a fight, Noriko heads out. Just then, she sees player Number 1. Meanwhile, Ashido falls to the ground in fatigue, while Tatsuya mocks him for being trash. He walks up to Ashido telling him that time's up and realizes that he may have been expecting too much from Ashido. Before leaving, he asks Ashido about a play he made in the match. Dropping coins to represent the players, Tatsuya moves the coins according to what Ashido did during the game, but Ashido doesn't give a shit about tactics. Tatsuya tells Ashido to stop playing like a mindless monkey, but at the same time is intrigued by Ashido's play style. When he tells Ashido about it, Ashido doesn't give a shit and takes his coins. Number 1's parents apologize for their son's behavior. He tells Noriko that he insulted Ashido's teammates and also admits to calling Ashido's family poor. When Number 1 makes fun of Noriko for working at night, Ashido hits him and calls him a little bitch. Noriko is speechless. Still annoyed, Ashito displays the thought process behind his plays to Tatsuya. Looking at the complex drawing, Tatsuya's eyes widen and Ashido admits to being a selfish player. Still, we can see Tatsuya smiling deviously at the drawing. As Ashido is creeped out by Tatsuya, Tatsuya goes back to his bench and tells Ashido to head home. Lying down, Tatsuya cannot believe that Ashido remembers the positions of every player on the field. In the morning, Tatsuya wakes up and sees Ashido practicing. Ashido sees Tatsuya and is happy that he has finally done it. As he lies on the ground, Tatsuya introduces himself as the manager of Tokyo City Aspirian FC Youth. He explains that every Japanese league team has a youth team for future stars and hands Ashido a paper, adding that the tryouts are in 10 days. School starts and Ashido is practicing. 2 girls go up to him to strike up a conversation when his friends invite him to play a match. As they play, the students notice that Ashido has improved. Meanwhile, Ashido thinks about the tryouts. Noriko is strongly against sending Ashido to Tokyo as not only is it far away, but their financial situation is tough. As Ashido is talking to his teammate, Shun comes to pick him up. While walking, Shun talks about Tatsuya and tells Ashido that Tatsuya was an amazing midfielder who played more than 10 years ago. He joined Tokyo Aspirian at 18 and played in La Liga during his prime. When he suffered a serious injury in the finals, Tatsuya was never the same and retired soon after. Shun tells Ashido to go for tryouts and hands him an envelope with money even though Noriko doesn't know. The scene cuts to Ashido looking in awe at the tall skyscrapers in Tokyo. He happily informs the bus driver that he is going to Aspirian Club, and we can see his eyes widen while looking at the club sign. He watches some boys register their names and infers that they are here for the tryouts. As he looks for his wallet, a girl runs into his bag and all the cones on her cart fall out. As Ashito apologizes, Hana stares blankly and abruptly asks him if he is the guy from Aheim as her brother had told her about him. He screams at her for suddenly appearing and Hana pouts as her brother has been talking about Ashito nonstop. She calls him annoying and tells him to follow her to the tryouts. There are 86 candidates today and some promising stars like Tachibana Soichiro, Kaneda Kinori, Hasegawa Yudai, and Lee Jong-suk have all achieved something big. Hana asks Ashito if he achieved anything in Aheim. Damn, why you got to do him like that, Hana? She walks away telling him the location of the registration desk and the fees, but hears him getting excited about the grass. Later, the head coach introduces the club and hands it over to Tatsuya, who sees Ashito in the crowd and smiles. Tatsuya explains that acquiring players from other clubs is risky, but nurturing your own players is not. Ashito starts sweating balls as he doesn't know anything about the club or other football teams. As his heart continues to beat rapidly, Tatsuya mentions that it is not guaranteed that anybody will be picked today. Ashito speaks up as Tatsuya didn't tell him that before he came to Tokyo, and Tatsuya awkwardly apologizes. He notices that Tatsuya is wearing slippers, but Tatsuya turns around to explain that only one player was chosen from the tryouts last year, while the bulk of players chosen were promoted from the junior youth team. Talent scouts also recruited players to join, and Ashito is pissed that the scouts didn't think he was good enough. Everyone here today is a failure in getting scouted, but Tatsuya reminds them that they are all here despite the slim chances. The candidates go through the first assessment round, a fitness test. While Ashito watches the other candidates, a candidate named Isaku points out to Ashito that he is shaking and admits to feeling nervous as well. Ashito congratulates Isaku for being the first person to talk to him, but Still, Ashito is fired up and it takes Isaku aback. Next, the second stage starts where they have to play a 20-minute minigame of 7-on-7. Hana arrives with a container of drinks for the players and realizes that the game is low-key one-sided. As Ashito is dribbling, he is tackled and turns the ball over, resulting in a goal. As Ashito pants heavily, Isaku argues with Ashito about being a selfish prick, but manages to calm down, and tells Ashito to pull himself together. The spectators notice that Takanbana Soichiro is destroying the other team. When Kaneda gets the ball, he doesn't pass it to Ashito, who is free, and Ashito is dumbfounded. Hana questions Tatsuya if it was a good idea to make the other team so much better, but Tatsuya smiles. He mentions that he is not judging technique athleticism, but judging the candidate's intelligence instead. The coaches comment that Ashito is done for as he has stopped moving completely. Right now, Ashito is disappointed in himself for hogging the ball and realizes that everyone here is skilled. Now, he is ready to play real football. Widening his eyes, it turns yellow and a crow flies over the field, giving Ashito a view of the entire field and the position of every player. Soon, he starts running and gets the ball but gets double-teamed with 5 minutes left in the game. As he hogs the ball even while being pressed, both the coaches and his teammate give up on him, yet Tatsuya is grinning widely. As Ashito continues to get pressed, Isaku wonders why Ashito is purposely staying in that area. 2 more of the opposing players go to Ashito. Ashito notices this and immediately dribbles to his own goal. Isaku tells Kaneda to run and Ashito kicks the ball to him, allowing Kaneda to score. Isaku is proud of himself for giving Kaneda the instruction while Ashito is screaming on the other side of the field. Kaneda gives him a thumbs up. Meanwhile, Coach Aki is super impressed of the play and happy that he got to see Ashito's bird-eye view ability. Tatsuya tells the players that 11 of them will be chosen for the final stage. Later, Ashito devours his food while Isaku is anxious about making the finals. In the meeting room, Aki vouches for Isaku for his behaviors off the field. Isaku started conversations with players who were most likely to be his minigame teammates to gauge their play styles before the match. Aki adds that Isaku is low-key smart as fuck, and Tatsuya decides to keep him. For Ashito, however, opinions are mixed. Meanwhile, Ashito calls Hana the lunch lady, and Hana proclaims that she is just volunteering. She denies Ashito seconds, as he will have to play if he gets chosen. She blushes, asking Ashito if his pass was a fluke, and he tells her that he doesn't even remember what happened. Hana gets excited that the pass was by intuition, and starts talking about her favorite player of all time. She mentions that if he didn't have to think while doing something, it means he has mastered it. Introducing herself as Tatsuya's sister, she shakes his hand and remembers watching Tatsuya make the same play Ashito did a long time ago. An announcement is made telling the players to go to the field as the chosen players have been decided.